Yes guys, what's up? It's Spessy here, hope you're doing well. We've got the final two Nilfgaard cards to review, and pretty excited for these ones, particularly the gold, who is an art that we've had around in the game for a really long time. If you do like the video, please do give it a like. Comment down below as well what you think about the cards. Please also do head over to my Twitch channel where I'm streaming every single day at 8 AM UK time. That's my new schedule. So far we've stuck to it. And last but not least, my second channel has just recently started. So I'd really appreciate you going over to subscribe there. We've got almost 400 subscribers. Well on our way to that 1,000 to start getting the channel monetized. So I'd really appreciate any support over there. That would mean an awful lot. First card, Illusionist. It's a human, mage, soldier. Alright, it's got the soldier tag, guys. That does mean Ramon. It's got bonded as well, so it's going to have some synergy with the mushy truffle location, which is the location that spawns a bonded card that's in your starting deck and plays it. So that'll just play for 3 points, but then you have the froth from the mushy truffle, so it'll be like a 9-point mushy truffle, but then it could set up potentially 3 illusionists getting this bonded ability. So what does the card do? Well, let's talk about that. Spawn a base copy of a bronze unit from your opponent's graveyard on the right of this card, and set its power to 1. For example, if your opponent has an elder bear in their graveyard, this would just play for 4 points, but then you play the second one, and the second one would be 9. Maybe something better to consider is something like using this on a sage from your opponent's deck if you're playing against, or sorry, a scribe. If you're, no, a sage, a seer, that's what I was looking for. You use this on a seer, it would just be a 4-point of tempo, but then if you use the other one on a sorceress, you could then click the sorceress, right, use the tempering or whatever onto the seer, and then suddenly the first one play for a lot more than 4 points. So obviously it's very much depending on what your opponent's playing is going to be the value on this. Things like great swords as well, and you don't have to pick the same thing each time, right? You might pick something like a ship first, and then you might pick a great sword second, where you don't set its power to 1. Is this card very good? My feeling is it's not great, and the reason for that is the time you want to play 4 provision cards most often is going to be in round 1, and this card is a brick. It's just a straight up brick in round 1 unless you're using some hard removal tools. There's not going to be anything in your opponent's graveyard, so having a 4 provision card that bricks in round 1 is awkward. There's no doubt about it in my mind, particularly if you've got bonded, so you're going to have 2 in your deck, you want to have 2 in your hand as well. Mulliganing this card in round 1 feels weird, but not mulliganing it is just asking for trouble. So I do have a bit of a problem with just the playability of this card for that exact reason, right? The round you want to use it most is in round 1, but it's not going to work very well in round 1 a lot of the time. Now, there's some things you could do. Obviously, hard removal being one thing, so like in Slave, for example, if you're running assassinations, you can just kill your opponent's cards and you can set it up that way. Another big one is Operator, right? We already talked in the previous video about Operator on Imperial Practitioners being an option, because then you could use Vilgefortz here onto like a gold card like Brathens, for example, or Snowdrop, and then you could click all your Imperial Practitioners. So this card, the Illusionist, is just going to be another way of playing even more Imperial Practitioners. It does also have a Darren synergy, as well as, of course, then the Mushy Truffle is also got that Darren synergy for even more Illusionists. So I believe that it doesn't really have great synergy with Idaran on the Mushy Truffle, but the Illusionist from hand does have good Idaran synergy, because let's say you play it on an Imperial Practitioner. For example, you use Operator on an Imperial Practitioner, then you kill it at some point. Then you could use your Illusionist to play one, but then your Idaran would spawn a second, right? And then bang, suddenly with your Mega Scopes, you could have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Brathens or something ridiculous like that. So it's definitely got some synergy with the Imperial Practitioner in that style of deck with Operator. But again, it just seems really clunky, and like, would you rather have this or a Mega Scope for that kind of setup? And I think it's a Mega Scope, so I don't think this card's very good. It's an interesting card. I'm excited to play around with it, but it does just seem a little bit dodgy to me. What do you guys think? Is there anything that I've not thought of with this one? I don't see this seeing much competitive play, but I definitely do want to try it out in some fun decks. And I think that's all right to have a few cards like that are just a little bit of fun. You can do some cool things with. Yeah, not very competitive. Probably the weakest card I think we've seen so far. Yeah, I would say it's the weakest card by a distance. But again, let me know in the comments, is there anything I'm missing on this one? All right, up next, we've got Lydia. This is a card art that's been around for a long time from a art contest. Looking forward to see the premium on this one, because you can sort of see in the mirror here, all is not quite as it seems with Lydia. She looks beautiful from this side, but this leaf placement, I wonder if it's covering anything up. She's a human and a mage, and she has 2 abilities, both melee and ranged. In the melee row, she's going to create and play a bronze special card from your opponent's faction. So working as a create pool, kind of like a mini bribery, right? But a 5 body is no joke, right? And then on the range, you can play a bronze special card from your opponent's graveyard. Obviously, that's going to be against like Skellig. You could get a Princess of Freya, which you probably would have set up with your Assimilate cards earlier on. And that's the important thing, right? It is an Assimilate card. I think this card's really good. I think it's really well statted. The fact that it can never brick, you can have some agency over what you pick. Like it could be a rebuke as well, right? You could deny your opponent their rebuke from their graveyard for Forest Protector, so a little bit of graveyard hate in that sense could be a niche use. But also then in the front row, if they've just not used anything, you can just have a gander, see what is cracking. I think she's good. Assimilate trigger with a 5 body. If you compare her to Triss Telekinesis, right? Triss Telekinesis is 4 power, 11 provisions. And while she doesn't see an abundance of competitive play, she's definitely a very strong card in Nilfgaard, in Assimilate decks. And okay, look, this isn't maybe going to be playing Vic of Iron Novices every game like Triss can. But, you know, you can trigger your Assimilate twice with things like Freya, for example, right? So definitely excited to try Lydia. I think she's really competitive. I think she's going to be in a lot of competitive decks. We have already seen like a lot of imprisonment decks using things like Coup de Grace, Brathens, Terra Nova. I think she's going to slot very nicely into that, into those styles of decks. So I think she's super competitive. Excited to try her out. Again, not convinced by the Illusionist. Let's take a quick look at the card text from them. I don't think there's too much else to talk about on Lydia. She's just kind of, she is what you see, right? She is what you get. She's like a better Triss Telekinesis, really, which is pretty exciting. I think it's a really cool card. When you, and here's the Illusionist card flavor text. When you're few, make them believe you're many. If they still attack, well, you are... Either way, I missed the button. I pressed the mute button. You're... Either way. Unnamed Nilfgaardian strategist. We've got to keep it rolling, man. And then Lydia, whether by brush or by sorcery, there was no event, emotion, or scene beyond Lydia's power to depict, apart from joy. Oh, bloody hell, that's pretty bleak, innit? So yeah, that's Lydia. Up next, we've got Syndicate. Syndicate reveals coming in tomorrow. What are you guys hoping to see? Gather a whole family to celebrate a profitable hunting season with the Syndicate cards that we've had so far. I know that we've had the Hale family as well as their alter egos. We've had the Witchfinder, but we haven't had her alter ego. So lots of people have predicted that to be one. And it's the same for, I think, the good boy Geezer. We've not seen his alter ego. So he's called Ignatius Hale, I think he is. We haven't seen his alter ego. So definitely seems like they're 2 cards we can predict. And then 2 more cards to come in as well. So definitely excited to see those. Still got Skellig on Monsters Northern Realms and 1 more neutral card as well. So slowly approaching that time of the season, or that time of the month where the reveal season is completed, and then we can really start Fury crafting these decks. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Going to keep it short and sweet. Don't think there's too much else to talk about this one. I think Lydia's great. Going to see some competitive play, but there's not really like any niche synergies that don't catch the eye. She's just like a Triss that's better in Nilfgaard. Obviously limited because, you know, you're depending on what your opponent's going to play, but definitely a really cool card. Like if your opponent uses a lacerate, bang, you've got your own one, right? That's pretty sick. And then the Illusionist, don't think it's very good. Do really think it's quite a cool card though, and I'm excited to try it out. That is for sure. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye.